Have you ever felt like you're living in a time machine? Like what you're seeing right now isn't actually happening right now? Well, you're not wrong. And no, this isn't the beginning of a sci-fi movie. It's cutting-edge neuroscience. It turns out your brain is a bit of a creative director, constantly editing the raw footage from your eyes to present you with a smooth, stable, and slightly delayed version of reality. In fact, research suggests that what you perceive as the present moment is actually a scene from about 15 seconds in the past. It sounds wild, doesn't it? Let's break down how this works. Our eyes are constantly bombarded with a fire hose of information. Light, shadows, colors, movements. It's a chaotic stream of data. If our brain processed all of this in real time, our perception would be a jittery, disorienting mess. Imagine watching a movie where every single frame, every flicker of light, and every tiny camera shake is visible. You'd get a headache pretty quickly. To prevent this perceptual chaos, our brain acts like a sophisticated video editor. It collects visual information over a period of about 15 seconds, averages it all out, and then presents this smoothed-out version to our consciousness. This process is called temporal smoothing. It's what allows us to perceive a stable, continuous world instead of a confusing, flickering one. Scientists at the University of California, Berkeley, conducted a fascinating experiment to demonstrate this. They showed participants a series of faces that gradually changed over 30 seconds. For example, from a younger face to an older one, or from a happy expression to an angry one. When asked to identify the face they saw at a specific moment, participants consistently chose a face that had appeared several seconds earlier. Their perception was lagging behind the actual visual input. This lag is our brain's trick for creating continuity. It smooths out the constant, subtle changes in our environment, giving us the illusion of a steady, unchanging world. This is incredibly useful. It prevents us from being distracted by every tiny, insignificant fluctuation in light or motion. It helps us focus on what's important, like a car approaching or a friend waving from across the street. So, how does the brain actually achieve this? It involves a complex interplay between different parts of our visual system. When light hits our retina, it's converted into electrical signals that travel to the visual cortex at the back of our brain. But it's not a direct live feed. The brain holds on to these signals, integrating them over time. Think of it like a buffer on a streaming video. The brain gathers a few seconds of data before it starts playing, ensuring a seamless experience without constant interruptions. This buffering mechanism creates what scientists call a field of the present, a perceptual window of a few seconds where past information is blended to create our current experience. It's a continuous, rolling average of the visual world. This temporal smoothing has some interesting side effects. For example, it explains why we can sometimes miss slow, gradual changes happening right in front of us. This is known as change blindness. If an object in a scene slowly changes color or shape, our brain, in its effort to maintain stability, might just average out the change and not even register it consciously. It prioritizes the big picture over the minute details. This isn't a flaw in our perception, it's a feature. It's an evolutionary adaptation that helps us manage the overwhelming amount of sensory information we encounter every second of our lives. But what about fast movements? If our brain is always 15 seconds behind, how can we catch a ball or react quickly to a sudden danger? This is where our brain's incredible flexibility comes in. While our conscious perception of a stable scene is delayed, our brain has other, much faster pathways for processing motion and reacting to threats. These are the reflexive, almost instantaneous systems that allow you to jerk your hand away from a hot stove before you've even consciously registered the pain. So, we have a dual system. A fast, reactive system for immediate action, and a slower, integrative system for creating a stable, conscious perception of the world. The two work together seamlessly. This delay in perception also has implications for our sense of self and our memories. If our present is actually a construction of the recent past, it means our entire conscious experience is a form of immediate memory. We're not directly experiencing the world as it is, but rather, We're experiencing a slightly edited, time-delayed reconstruction of it. This idea challenges our intuitive understanding of consciousness. It suggests that our reality is less of a direct perception and more of a beautifully rendered illusion, curated by our own brain for our own benefit. Let's think about this in our daily lives. Have you ever looked at a clock and felt like the second-hand pause for a moment before it started ticking? This is a real phenomenon called chronostasis. When your eyes dart to a new object, like the clock, your brain, cleverly, fills in the time it took for your eyes to move. It takes the image you see when your eyes land on the clock and essentially backdates it, stretching that perception backward to cover the gap. This creates the illusion that you've been looking at the clock for slightly longer than you have, making the second hand appear to freeze. It's another example of our brain editing reality to create a smooth, uninterrupted experience. This 15-second delay isn't a bug. It's a fundamental feature of how we perceive the world. It's a trade-off. We sacrifice to real-time accuracy for perceptual stability, and for navigating our complex world, stability is often more important. It allows us to recognize faces, read text, and understand our surroundings without being overwhelmed by sensory noise. It's the silent, tireless work of our brain's internal editor that makes our visual world coherent and meaningful. So, the next time you look around, remember that you're not seeing the world as it is in this exact instant. You're seeing a slightly delayed, beautifully smoothed out masterpiece presented to you by your own incredible brain. You're living in a continuous present that is, in reality, a slice of the very recent past. It's a mind-bending concept, but it reveals just how much work goes on behind the scenes to create our seamless experience of reality. Our brains are not just passive observers, they are active creators of our world. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into the fascinating world of our brain as perception of time. It really makes you think, doesn't it? If you found this as mind-blowing as I did. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the mysteries of the human mind. Let me know in the comments what you think about living 15 seconds in the past. Until next time, stay curious